All right, so are you ready to go on another deep dive with me today?
Always. I love these deep dives.
Today, we're going to be looking at November 12th throughout history.
Sounds fun.
All the different things that have happened on this one single day across, all of history.
That's right. And just using Wikipedia as our source.
Yeah, just from Wikipedia, it's amazing how many things we can find.
Oh, yeah.
So, should we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so, where do we even begin?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me about November 12th is all the different power struggles that happened on that day.
Oh, that's interesting. Like what?
Well, we could start with the French Revolution
Okay.
back in 1793.
Okay.
The first mayor of Paris, Jean-Sylvain Bailly, was executed during the Reign of Terror.
Oh, wow. That's pretty intense. I remember learning about the Reign of Terror.
Yeah, a really chaotic time.
Yeah. Thousands of people were guillotined.
Definitely a stark reminder of how quickly things can change,
Yeah,
in a revolution.
for sure. So what else happened on November 12th in terms of these power struggles?
Well, in 1914,
Okay.
the Ottoman Empire decided to join World War I on the side of the Central Powers.
Oh, wow. Now that is a big one. It seems like a lot of the entries from this date involve, like, big wars.
Yeah, for sure. It had a huge impact on the war. It changed the whole landscape of the
You
conflict.
got the scope?
Yeah, exactly. The war became much bigger geographically.
Wow. And, speaking of World War I, that kind of indirectly led to the Russian Revolution, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And, speaking of the Russian Revolution, 1927, Leon Trotsky was expelled from the Communist Party.
Oh, right. And Trotsky was a close ally of Lenin, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was one of the leaders of the revolution.
So how did that happen? How was he expelled?
Well, after Lenin's death, Stalin started to really consolidate his power.
Right.
And Trotsky was, a rival to that.
Yeah, for sure. So Stalin basically just kicked him out to get him out of the way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that really marked the beginning of Stalin's reign of terror.
Oh, wow. So that was a huge turning point.
Absolutely.
So November 12th is like a day of turning points.
It seems that way. And the connections don't stop there. In 1938, Hermann Goering,
Oh, okay.
a high-ranking Nazi official,
Yeah.
he proposed the Madagascar Plan.
The Madagascar Plan, remind me what that was.
That was the plan to relocate Europe's Jewish population to the island of Madagascar.
Oh, right. I remember reading about that.
Yeah, it was really part of the Nazis' systematic persecution of Jews,
Oh, yeah.
which, of course, culminated in the Holocaust.
Wow. So even before World War II had started, they were already, planning this.
Yeah, and it shows how deeply ingrained that ideology was at that point.
Yeah. So November 12th is a day of, big wars, but also like this undercurrent of anti-Semitism, it seems like.
Yeah, seems that way. And the turmoil continues even after World War II.
Yeah.
In 1956, the Suez Crisis erupted.
Oh, right. The Suez Canal.
Exactly. Egypt decided to nationalize the canal, which was controlled by Britain and France at that point.
Okay.
So that triggered a military intervention.
Wow. So they sent in troops.
Oh, yeah. Britain, France, and Israel, actually.
Wow. So that was a pretty big conflict.
Yeah, it was a major crisis.
And did this happen on the same day as like the Madagascar Plan?
Well, the Madagascar Plan was in 38, but the Suez Crisis was in 56.
Okay.
But on that same day, in 56, Morocco, Sudan, and Tunisia gained admission to the United Nations.
Oh, wow. So there were some positive developments that happened on this day as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big step forward for those newly independent nations.
That's a great point. It seems like there's like this balance between like good and bad on this day,
It's really fascinating. It's like a microcosm of history itself.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we've got revolutions, wars,
Yeah.
International organizations. What other big events happened on November 12th?
It really is. And sometimes the good and the bad happen like right next to each other.
Oh, really?
Like in 1948, for example, Hideki Tojo.
Oh, yeah.
He was sentenced to death by international tribunal.
Tojo. He was the prime minister of Japan, right, during the war.
Yeah, during World War II.
Wow. So he was held accountable for, the things that Japan did during the war.
Exactly. It was a huge moment for international justice, trying to deal with the aftermath of such a devastating conflict.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to move forward from something like that.
And on that very same day,
Okay.
in 1847, so we're going back in time a little bit,
Okay.
there was this incredible medical breakthrough.
Okay. What happened?
The first recorded use of chloroform as an anesthetic during surgery.
Wow, that's huge. So before that, people were just like, biting on a bullet during surgery.
Pretty much, yeah. It was brutal
Yeah.
and dangerous.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
The Scottish physician, James Young Simpson, he was the one who pioneered this.
Wow. So that really changed everything.
Absolutely. Revolutionized surgery. It made it possible to do more complex procedures,
Yeah.
you know.
It's amazing that something so positive could happen on the same day as, something like the Tojo trial.
Yeah, it's like these two sides of history colliding.
For sure. So we've got triumphs and tragedies all happening on this one day.
And unfortunately, some more tragedies, too.
Oh, no. Like what?
In 1996, there was this horrific mid-air collision between a Saudi Arabian Airlines flight and a Kazakhstani flight over India.
God.
One of the deadliest aviation accidents ever. Over 349 people died.
Wow. It's so sad to think about all the lives lost.
It's a stark reminder of how fragile life can be.
And how random sometimes it feels like.
And yet, amidst all of this, life goes on and sometimes it even celebrates.
Okay.
On that same day in 1998, Kuwait won the Arabian Gulf Cup.
Wow. So a moment of triumph for Kuwait on a day that also saw a terrible tragedy.
Exactly. It's like history just keeps throwing these curveballs.
These really intense highs and lows all happening together.
And then in 2003, there was a suicide bombing in Nasiriyah, Iraq.
Oh, no.
It targeted an Italian police base.
Wow.
And tragically, 28 people were killed.
It's a reminder that violence and conflict are sadly a recurring theme in history.
And that theme continues in 2008,
Okay.
when the breakaway region of South Ossetia held a referendum on independence from Georgia.
The South Ossetia conflict, that's been going on for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a source of tension for decades.
And this referendum, did it resolve anything?
It actually just made things worse.
Yeah.
It wasn't recognized internationally.
Right.
And it further fueled the conflict in the region.
Wow. So November 12th is a day of wars, revolutions, medical breakthroughs, and now ongoing conflicts.
It seems that way. And let's not forget about political drama and economic woes.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
In 2011,
Okay.
Silvio Berlusconi, the Prime Minister of Italy,
Ah, yes, Berlusconi.
he resigned in the midst of this huge economic crisis.
He was a very colorful character.
Oh, yeah. He was always in the headlines.
So his resignation must have been a big deal for Italy.
It was. It really marked the end of an era,
Yeah. And Italy was going through some tough times back then.
They were struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But on a more positive note,
Yes, please tell me there's some good news in here somewhere.
in 2014, there was this incredible achievement in space exploration.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Philae lander part of the European Space Agency's Rosetta mission.
Mm-hmm.
It landed on a comet.
No way, a comet. That's amazing.
It was a huge milestone for science. It's
Yeah.
the first time a spacecraft had ever landed on a comet.
Wow. So November 12th, the day of wars and conflicts, also saw this incredible moment of scientific discovery.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like this constant push and pull between the good and the bad,
And this comet landing, it must have given scientists so much new information about the solar system.
Oh, yeah. They were able to study the comet's composition and learn more about the early solar system.
It's amazing to think about all the knowledge that came from that one event.
But even with these moments of triumph, the tragedies continued.
Oh, no.
In 2015, there was a devastating bombing in Beirut, Lebanon.
Oh, gosh.
More than 40 people were killed.
And Beirut has been through so much.
It has. It's a city that's seen a lot of conflict and hardship.
Yeah. So this bombing just added to that suffering.
And then in 2017, there was a powerful earthquake that hit the border region between Iran and Iraq.
Oh,
It caused widespread damage, and many lives were lost.
it's heartbreaking to think about all the people affected by these tragedies.
It is. It's a reminder that even in the 21st century, we still face so many challenges.
Okay. Well, we've explored the tumultuous side of November 12th,
We have.
but I'm curious about the people who were born on this date.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's been a birthday for some pretty remarkable individuals.
It has. And you're right. November 12th has also been a birthday for some pretty amazing people.
Okay. I'm excited to hear about this. So who do we have?
Well, for starters, in 1817, Baha'u'llah was born. He's the founder of the Baha'i faith.
The Baha'i faith. I've heard of that, but I don't know a lot about it.
It's a relatively new religion, but it's grown really quickly.
Okay.
And it's all about unity and equality, the oneness of humanity.
Oh, that's cool. So it's a very inclusive religion.
Yeah, very much so.
So Baha'u'llah sounds like a pretty important figure.
He was.
Mm.
And on that same date, but 50 years later, Sun Yat-sen was born.
Sun Yat-sen, I know that name. He's considered the father of modern China, right?
That's right. He was a key figure in overthrowing the Qing dynasty
Oh, wow.
and establishing the Republic of China.
So he was a revolutionary.
Absolutely. He wanted to create a modern democratic China.
Wow. So November 12th is a birthday for both religious leaders and revolutionaries.
It seems that way. And let's not forget about the artists.
Okay. Like who?
Well, Auguste Rodin, the famous French sculptor, was born on November 12th, 1840.
Rodin, I love his work. The thinker. The kiss.
Yeah, he's a legend. His sculptures are so expressive, you know?
Yeah, I've always been drawn to how realistic they are.
Exactly. He really captured the human form in a way that no one else had before.
It's amazing. And speaking of capturing things, John William Strutt was also born on November 12th, but in 1842.
John William Strutt, the physicist.
Yeah, the Nobel Prize winner.
That's right. He made some major discoveries about light and sound.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Well, he discovered argon, for example.
Argon.
Yeah, exactly. He was studying the density of gases, and he found this new element.
Wow. So November 12th is a birthday for artists and scientists.
And actors.
Really?
Grace Kelly was born on November 12th, 1929.
No way. Grace Kelly, the Hollywood star who became a princess.
The one and only. She was a true icon.
I love her movies.
And then there's Jalal Talabani. He was a major figure in the Kurdish independence movement.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was born in 1933.
Yeah.
And he actually became the first non-Arab president of Iraq.
Wow, that's incredible. So we've got actors, politicians, scientists, artists, all born on November 12th.
And even a cult leader,
Oh, no. Who are we talking about?
Charles Manson.
Oh, gosh, Charles Manson.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
responsible for those horrific murders in the 60s.
Yeah, it's a dark chapter in history.
It is. And a reminder that, not all historical figures are positive ones.
Definitely. And to round out our list, we have Anne Hathaway, the actress.
Oh, Anne Hathaway, I love her.
She was born in 1982.
Wow, so November 12th has seen the birth of some truly amazing people.
It really has. From religious leaders and revolutionaries to scientists and artists.
It's amazing how much history we've uncovered just by looking at this one date.
I know. It makes you realize that every day is full of potential,
Yeah, anything can happen.
And November 12th seems to be a day where a lot of things do happen.
For sure. It's been a whirlwind tour through history.
It has. Yeah. And it just goes to show that history is full of surprises.
Definitely. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But keep exploring, keep learning. And who knows, maybe you'll uncover some amazing historical connections of your own.
Happy digging.
Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.